Okay, welcome to our Wednesday Empowered Education calls on what I'm very excited about, to be having our one and only Brett Gurney here today being interviewed. And he's going to really share with us the whole what he does online with building a network marketing business. And I know Jackie's going to be, bringing in a lot more. But what I wanted to say to start off is, first of all, we are delighted everybody's here. And it's important to Brett that he gets to answer your questions. So if you could start going ahead as he's being interviewed, those questions, write them in the chat, because I'll be making sure that I'm monitoring them so we get all your questions answered. I know for Brett, the more you ask, the more you're going to get from him. And he does want to, share what his vast experience, what he's got to share, but sometimes we got to ask what that is. So don't be shy. I'm saying this is your time. As we said last week, this is the first time he's granted coming public and interacting with us on a public call. So this is your chance. Write your questions in the chat. I can't wait to see what they are. I know I've got mine. Okay, so with that, we're going to really do our best to stay within the hour to get as much as we can from Brett. And I'm going to just say again, welcome from the Fabulous Five and John Gluckman, who has graced us with his presence today. We're so delighted. It's just like, it feels so good for us all to be here so we can learn more, grow together, ask our questions. And with that, I'm going to let Jackie take it away.
Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's well. And it is, as Fawn said, it's just really brilliant to see everybody on here. And because Brett certainly is a well of knowledge. So, and just I had the very much an honor and pleasure to actually spend some time and got to meet him and got to know him in Vegas, and it's continued from there. And very fortunate to have him as my upline. So I just unfortunately do not have the same brain as he does. So I am still learning in the IT department. So this is going to be very enlightening for me. So, and I'm very grateful to Brett that you did agree to do this. I think there might have been a bit of blackmail entailed in it between you and I. So I think there are some pictures we could have used. So if all else fails, we'll try anything, but it's worked. So I'm just so very grateful for it. So Brett, what I wanted to ask you straight away, really basically, how you got involved with iGalen. So you can just let us know what you previously did before you came across iGalen, just as a brief overview of what your history's been for your career prior to coming into iGalen.
Oh, yeah, sure. First, I want to say hello to everyone. Okay, thanks for having me on the call. It's a pleasure to be here, and hello to all the people out there on the other side of my computer screen, wherever you are in the world. But yeah, it's a time in my life that I actually remember quite well, because I had moved out of town and I was alone. I was actually making some changes, and I was working in a factory, and in the lunchroom I was hearing people talking about, this was in the year 2000, okay, and people were talking about emails. And they were having fun with it. And I thought, I was intrigued with that. I was like, what is, I didn't know anything. I'd never owned a computer. And I didn't know the first thing about emails or internet or anything like that. But I was intrigued with the stuff that I heard that was going on, because they were having fun with it, and they were sending these emails back and forth, all these people at work, and they were cracking jokes and just having a good time. And I was like, this sounds kind of interesting. And so I did some inquiring, and I picked up a secondhand computer. an old Windows 98. The screen was about this big. And then I was like, I didn't even know how to turn the thing on, right? And I was like, okay, I got this computer. And then somebody told me that I have to get on the internet. Okay. But what do you mean? What does that mean, get on the internet? Am I supposed to jump on the internet somewhere? What does that mean? So I found out that I had to find the internet service provider in town, and that they would come out and hook it all up. And so I got online. I had dial-up connection, if any of you remember dial-up. And so I got online and I discovered this world that I just thought was so cool. And I figured out how to send emails. And I remember I found this special kind of email where I think it was hooked up with AOL or something way back then. And I remember this little guy that would come out of the corner of my screen, and he looked like a butler, and he had a tray in his hand with letters on it. He would say, "You have mail." And I used to wait for that guy. I thought that was such a cool thing, and I was just so amused.
I remember that.
I was just so amused with all this. And then I started surfing the internet, and I saw something about, I came across an MLM website, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, you mean to tell me that I can make money on this thing sitting from home? And I was hooked. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was all in, and I just started reading and finding out, what this was. So that's when I first got involved with the computer. And I eventually got into some MLM companies, and, I've always been a big fan of health and wellness. Okay. And so what I was doing prior to connecting with iGalen, I was with a health and wellness MLM company. I had done several, and, things happened. I didn't really know how to choose a good company at the time. I was learning. And let me just throw this out there now for everybody out there. I'm not an expert at this stuff. I'm a student of this industry and of this particular style of networking, but I do a lot of reading and a lot of studying. And I hope I always remain a student, because the day that I think that I know it all, I'm done. Okay. And so, but I'm just going to share with you some of the things that I've learned. So anyways, Jackie, yeah, I was before I was with iGalen, I was with another company that had a disappointing and abrupt end to it. Okay.
Brett, if I could just say this before you keep going though, the encouraging part for people that are younger and older than you, that we don't need a university degree to understand how to work a computer. And I'm not taking anything away from you, but it just tells you that if you want something bad enough, you can learn, and that's exactly what you have done. And kudos to you, because you really have done that, and you've committed to it, and you've excelled at it. And before we go any further, before you keep going, because I should have said this right from the word go to you, congratulations, first of all, because we know that you reached diamond status in Vegas. But I know you are so very humble, and a lot of people probably aren't aware that you have been grandfathered to Ruby for life. So I wanted to congratulate you on that part, because that is just brilliant within itself.
Thank you.
Congratulations for that. So
yay, Brett, our leader.
That's pretty exciting.
It is amazing, and being the humble person that you are, it was lucky that you did slip up and tell me, because you weren't going to put it on the internet, of course. So it's a good chance to let everybody know just how fabulous and what an amazing person that you are, because the commitment you're putting in, you're being rewarded for the rest of your life. And I'm sure it's going to be emerald next for you. So we'll continue on with it. So if you want to keep leading into where you were going.
You can go ahead and ask me another question if you want. Well, I think I answered it. I can't remember exactly what the question was.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know how you got involved with iGalen and who your sponsor is. How did that all come about for you?
Sure. I kind of like this story. There is a little bit of a story to it. I mentioned that I was with another company, health and wellness, that ended abruptly and kind of and we were a lot of disappointed people. But I mean, I've got pretty thick skin. I've been in this industry for a long time, so that's not something that derails me by any means. I was just like, okay, it's what it is, what it is. And I knew that I would eventually get involved with another MLM company because I love the industry. I love MLM and everything that it is and the opportunity that it provides for people. But I wasn't in a hurry at all to get into a new thing because I was at a place where it was going to have to be something very, very special. And in the USA, with health and wellness MLM, it's gotten pretty difficult because there's so much going on right now. It's so saturated. And I decided that I was going to just keep my ears and eyes open. And I already had a really good idea of just about everything that was out there because I'm online so much and I have a lot of connections and a lot of network marketing and friends. And so I'm getting emails and, stuff all the time, and I pretty much know what's going on out there. But I just said, you know what, Brett, just take a year or two or whatever, because the next thing I joined, it was going to have to be something that just punched me in the stomach. Okay, it had to be something that had to be very special for me, and so. But I sent out a post to my Facebook, and I just told people that I said, look, you all know I love this industry, and I'll get involved with something. I'm just going to take some time and look at everything that's out there and wait. And I'm not in a hurry. You're welcome to send me something if you want to show me what you're doing, but don't expect me to join because I'm not joining anything for a good long while because I haven't seen anything out there that hits me that way. And
Did you have a set of teeth on that as well, like to bar your teeth? Like they'd have to be game to come near you. So who was it that punched you in the belly on that post?
It's funny because I got a call like 5 minutes later from Dory O'Neill.
Ah, okay.
And I've known Dory for a long time. Okay, we've worked together in the past, and I have incredible respect for this guy as a friend, and because of his accomplishments in the industry. I was actually in a company that he owned along with his partner Jay, and we had a good long run with it, and I'm not sure, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. I think they ended up selling the business or something like that. It doesn't matter, but I stayed in contact with Dory and Jay over the years. We communicated, once in a great while, but I didn't think that Dory was like following me on Facebook or anything like that. I think it was just an uncanny timing thing where he must have seen my post must have popped up on his news feed or something like this, and I got this call and he, and they started telling me about Galen, and I was like, because it was Dory. I mean, when somebody like that calls you, you listen, okay? Because of what he's accomplished. He's probably the most accomplished networker that I know. I've seen him do some pretty amazing things in the industry. And so he told me the story. And, one of the things that I've often said is that I'm really big on stories, okay? A good story. And I've often said that if you give me a good story and a video, I don't need anything else because I'll build a team with it. And he told me the story about Joe Aarons and Emulant and everything else, and I listened intently, but I was at the same time, I was trying to keep myself calm, and I had said I wasn't going to jump and all this stuff, but I kind of knew like really fast that because it did punch me in the stomach.
But
when I
Brett,
heard
can I interrupt you on that part and just ask you, because I know that you've got a really personal interest in the health and wellness for your own personal health, because I know that you're a bit like me, you're a gym junkie, but also you've got health challenges yourself. Was that one of the reasons too, if we link that in together in this conversation, was that something that drew you on board too as you were making that decision?
A little bit. The product, definitely. When he started telling me what the product was and what it did, it was something that I was aware of. I was aware of the problem that the product tackled. Okay, because of the fact that I'm very involved with, health and fitness, and I've been taking supplements for years and health products for years, for as long as I can remember. And so the product definitely has something to do with it, but there's been times before where I've gotten excited about a company because of one thing or two things, but now for me it has to be an assortment of things. It has to be a combination of a lot of different things, and I was hearing these things, and one of those is timing, but that's not the biggest thing for me by any means. It was just it was just sitting right with me when I heard it. And so, but I didn't, in fact, I haven't told Dory this, but he basically had me at hello. But a lot of that has to do with who I'm talking to with him. Because at the end of the day, people join people.
Right.
Okay. And, and I'm very selective with who I join a company with now. Okay, and Dory's one person that I would work with and that I'm happy to work with. But anyways, I didn't let on. I just, I thought about it when I went to sleep that night. I woke up thinking about it, and it was, and I had that gut feeling going on. Okay, but one of the things that I always do when I have that gut feeling going on is I have to see, because this has happened before, and I put the word out, and people looked at me like I had a third eyeball, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know what I'm thinking here, but I have to see what some other people, how they react. So I put out an email to my list, just with some very basic things, and I wanted to see the reaction that I got, and I got a very good response, and so that I knew that it wasn't just me, that this product was something that would be wanted and needed. And so the next day I started doing a little bit of homework, but I was basically in when I heard the story.
So Brett, I know that you did say, and I think it's, I think some people do, but I don't think a lot of people realize the power of collecting emails, because you just don't know when you're going to need them. And that was one thing that you did say as part of your repertoire when we're looking at IT and marketing, regardless of what we do, that you hang on to your emails, because you don't know when you're going to need them, and you just don't know whether, it may be one person or it may be 10 people that might respond to that area. But that certainly seems to have been a big tool for you that you've really valued, and you've understood that it has a really big connection that you can, and a big reach. That doesn't cost you anything other than the fact that you have been smart enough to keep this list of emails over the last 20 years to be able to utilize it now and take it into multi-level marketing. So I want to ask you on that note, briefly, what's changed in multi-level marketing from when you first started, and what are you using now that's working the most efficiently for you?
Well, what's changed is everything. Everything has changed. When I first started marketing online, when I first got involved, the only thing that we had was email, really. I mean, there wasn't these marketing tools, or there wasn't even social media then. There wasn't even, I don't even think a person had come up with the word blog yet, which is, simply a short name for a weblog. Okay, as a blog. There wasn't YouTube. There wasn't phones with cameras in them. There wasn't any of those things. The websites, you had to be you had to know code. You had to be a programmer to build a website back then. And so really all there was email. And I discovered very early in my career that I had to collect emails. Okay. And I started doing that, and I'm still doing that today. And it's still a huge part of my marketing because, and you'll hear a lot that email is dead. Well, email is not dead, not by a long shot. Email is very well alive, but it's not the only thing. There's a lot of other things to do out there now, because it's not what it used to be because of all the spam laws and everything. And a lot of times it's harder to get your stuff delivered now. So I'm still building a list, but I'm using a lot of other tools, video marketing, blog marketing.
Can I just stop you there before you go, because I want to attach this to this as you go, because through our conversation, and I've understood this very clearly from previous conversations we've had, the importance of branding yourself. And how important it is to actually attach your own name so that you've got ownership over it, so people have got recognition of connection, and that trust is there, the integrity is there, but it's really literally your name that you are branding. And that was something that's come through very strong, that you've made it very clear that it is not something to consider, but it is an integral part of taking the business forward. But in saying that, can you then tell us what you've done by branding yourself and what different platforms have you gone into?
Yes, sure. Branding, and now when I'm speaking to people who want to build a business, a big business, okay, if somebody is just, wants to share a product with their friends and family and they're content to, just do that, then obviously they're not going to be overly concerned with being branded. But speaking to the people that want to build a business and use the internet and use the online to do it, branding is everything. Okay. Because I said it before, people join people, and they join people that they know, like, and trust. And the best way to get people to know you is to brand yourself, and to learn how to become seen, or to be seen, become known, and to be everywhere. And those, of course, they all work together, to branding. But I mean, it's crucial, because people that are getting online now, a lot of them, we as business builders, we want to find people who are serious about building a business. Am I right? We're looking for people who
Absolutely.
the people who want to be serious, and those people are going to be particular as well about who they join with. People are pretty savvy on the internet now, and they know that sometimes the team or the person that they join is every bit as important as the company that they join. And so they'll shop around. It's important for them, to know. But why would a person want to brand themselves? Well, why would a person want to have a business card, right? Because you want to show people that you're serious enough, for one thing, to spend the money and to take the time to have business cards made. Okay. It's just like if you had a conventional business and you had a store downtown on Main Street, and you have a storefront window, it's not going to be blank. You're going to have your business name on there. You're going to have probably say something about, what you're doing. And you're for sure going to have an open sign. Okay. So branding yourself online is just like having a business card. That's you letting people know that you're in business, that you're in it to win it, that you're serious, that you're working hard. And that's what people are looking for, because people will sponsor shop, and they're going to be looking for people who are, showing themselves to have leadership qualities, and branding yourself is a huge part of that.
Look, Brett, you've certainly got leadership qualities, but can you go into and tell us exactly what platforms that you do go into? Like, what are the most effective for somebody that may know nothing? What are the most effective areas, and what do you use within the internet to actually showcase who Brett Gurney is? Like, when you're putting information, is it YouTube? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Like, if you can explain that to us as to what's most, where you are and what you're doing and what's most beneficial for you. And just your consistency level too, like what consistency are you putting things out on the internet?
Yeah, you know, absolutely. It's very important. Well, I'm what you would call a content marketer, okay? And a content marketer is simply a person who publishes content on the internet that has value. They're providing value to the marketplace, something that other people will find useful, that can benefit them in some way. And it usually has to do with teaching somebody something, or it could be simply providing information that's useful, showing them, you know, how to do something. And that's what a content marketer is. And this leads into other things, because, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which is search engine optimization, because content is one of the two top things that Google looks for when they decide who they're going to show. And it's on the first page of their search engine when a person punches in a keyword that you're trying to target. Okay, but everybody should have, and this is something that anybody can do. You know, you said it before, Jackie, about not having to know anything to have a computer. It doesn't matter who you are, what you know, or what you don't know, or where you know, none of that stuff matters. Anybody can do this, and the training is abundant, and it's all free. There's a couple things a person would have to buy, such as hosting, but everybody should have a home base, okay? Which in the very, very beginning should be a blog, okay? Because your home base or your blog, you can add a home page, which is a regular website that would be on the same domain and attached to that. First of all, I should say everybody should have a domain name, okay? That's your name tag. Okay, that's the beginning of branding yourself on the internet, is your domain name. And it can be anything. It can be your name, or it can be something that you want associated with you, or maybe your company name or something like that if you have a company or whatever. So you want to purchase a domain name. And then you'll need a hosting account. A domain name is about $15 for a year. A hosting account for a beginner can be $8 a month, okay? And then you install a WordPress blog, which is free. And then you just, I mean, there's some things to learn. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but like I said, there's a ton of training that's free on how to do this stuff, and you can just align yourself with somebody that you know that's doing it and ask them questions, and they'll probably be happy to answer your question. But the reason that you want a home base like a blog is because then you're going to connect all your social media accounts to that blog, so that as you're writing blog posts, then you will share your blog post to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to, you know, whatever other social media accounts. So what you're doing is you're creating like a wheel, and your blog is like your hub, and your spokes go out to all your other real estate properties or platforms that you have. And this is creating a web for you. And then you want to have, of course, a YouTube channel and start doing, you know, YouTube videos. And for the person that's shy or whatever, you can make videos without even getting on camera. There's so many different ways. But I think, and a lot of other people will say this as well, that to start with a blog and then have that, because your blog is where you will drive your traffic. Your blog is also what you will use to build your list, because you're going to come up with a compelling offer to exchange to people for their email address, okay? Some people will call it an ethical bribe, for another term. A compelling offer that's free. It's free, And it couldn't be anything. It can be a book that you write. It could be somebody else's. It could be just a bullet point, just a PDF or numerous things.
So if I can just interrupt you on that side of it again too, that just to let people know if they're not aware, that Brett actually has written an ebook. And he's once again, very humble on that, which is called Internet Marketing Basics for Beginners. And for me, being a beginner like that, I'm on a need-to-know basis. It is a brilliant book to read through. So if you haven't got it, Internet Marketing Basics for Beginners. So this man is very humble and just breezed over that little fact right there and then about, even offering a book. Well, he has his own book that he can offer.
Yeah, and Jackie, I'm going to jump in right there with that because I did post the link where people can access it in the chat because we knew people would want it. Now, what's important for Brett, I know, Brett, you can be saying this for yourself, but I just want to open that up in that this is a landing page where you will be leaving your contact information, and Brett wants that full transparency so that you're understanding he is not here trying to get anybody's information in any way to be taking away anything. He simply, by going there, you'll get the full experience of getting what he's calling the ethical bribe. I mean, it's way more than this PDF is so comprehensive. But I just wanted, it's so important to Brett that you understand about his level of integrity.
Right. Thanks, Fawn. Yeah, that list, that people that go on that list just get educational material. I teach them how to do internet marketing. I've never sold anything through that list yet, but I don't know if I ever will, but that's certainly not my intention. But, I like to create things, okay? When I see somebody do something online that I think is cool, I have to do it. And I'll figure it out how to do it. I'll go read, study, ask, whatever, fumble my way through it, and I'll do it. And somebody, I was kind of picking up on this anyway, but somebody said, Brett, you want to brand yourself, write some ebook. I wrote an ebook. And then, of course, I did the same thing with videos. You need to start doing videos. Okay, I started doing videos. I figured it out. And like I said, I can't stress this enough, that the training is free. If you want to learn how to do internet marketing, don't go buying these overpriced training courses from these so-called gurus that could care less about you. The training that you need is free. You just have to know where to look for it. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and I've found some really, really great people that I follow now, and that's part of my routine every day. If I don't learn something new about marketing, how to become a little bit of a better marketer that day, then I'm not happy. That's really how I start my day, is by reading, studying something, but then most importantly is then engaging or doing that thing, whatever it is.
So Brett, I just want to go in here because I want to ask you one more question, and I really want to open it up for people to ask you questions if we can. So if I can say to you, I heard this through off very call yesterday by someone that we all know. You spoke about the products that we've got, products that we like. There's definitely a need for what we have. So it's ticking off all of those boxes there in regards to our products having everything we need. It meets the need. It's priced to sell, and it's also priced for profit. But what we did discuss on the call, and I just want this as the last question I have before we get people to ask you questions. With iGalen itself, and this is just in your opinion, so I'm not going to bound and gag you or anything, or I can't do that sort of thing to you through the computer, but with iGalen, is there anything moving into the future and moving forward with the use of technology that you feel that we could really progress with our marketing tools, and how you could see it being better and why?
Sure. Yep. I've watched a lot of companies launch products, launch their company. Some make it, some don't. We all know that. There is not a company on planet Earth that launches perfectly. It's all a process. And I'm not going to speak directly about Galen. I have no questions that they're going to excel in this industry. But what I will talk about is every in general. We talked about the importance of people branding themselves, how important that is to get yourself out there and get yourself known, because that's what attracts people to you. People, they sponsor shop and they're going to, if you want, well, we talked about that, but the thing is that a company is no different. Now, there was a time when a company could launch an amazing product like Emulin, Comax, and give it to the distributors and say, have at it, and the company would explode. But those days are long gone, I'm afraid, because there's too many other companies with people that are really good that might have mediocre products, but that are really, really good at making them sound like the greatest thing ever. Okay, so a company can, I don't think, just my opinion, but I think that a company now has to do the same things that a person has to do to brand themselves, okay, using technology. I think that every company should have a person on board that knows how to build a brand and that knows how to launch a product using the internet, which means I think that every company should have a marketing specialist on board whose job it is to do nothing but that, through videos, short videos, maybe, blogging, writing blog posts. This ties right in with communicating with the field, okay, which is another thing that I think every company should have. I think that they should have, that they should bring in a person whose job it is to do nothing but communicate with the field. I think every company should do that, because the thing is that, and I touched on it, there's some companies out there that have products that are not nearly as good as ours, that have a lot of momentum because they know how to market.
And if I can jump in with that, Brett, that when you're talking about branding and this marketing specialist, there's the blog going on. So that might be with short videos, maybe 2 or 3 a week, right? And then there's a newsletter going out through the email that is maybe once a week, where people are getting the current information. And then is there also social media exposure where there's a Facebook page, and there's daily posts? What I'm saying here with those pieces is, in your opinion, the consistency for keeping that brand alive. Because you use the word, you said before about that we have to be seen, become known, and show up everywhere. And so to do that, you have to stay consistent. You have to be blogging consistently. There has to be videos that are engaging consistently. There has to be the email newsletter. There has to be the Facebook post.
And it's all linked together.
Right.
It's all linked together. That's the secret. Okay, it's all linked together. Now, there is a component of internet marketing that I haven't even touched on yet, which is huge, which is kind of like where all this is actually going. Because you see, I don't know what the statistic is, but it's ridiculous how many new people are coming on the internet every day now. you know, and they're finding out about home-based business, or maybe they already know about it. And so one of the statistics is just how many people are actually coming into the internet world every day now. But the other statistic is and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like 85 or 90% or something like that, that all home-based business adventures start with a search on Google. Okay, so your search engine optimization is your organic traffic. That's how you learn how to put yourself in the path of people that are looking for you or for information on something that is in line with what you're doing. Otherwise, if there's no other, otherwise, how does that benefit you? The fact that all these people, and you hear it a lot, all these people that are coming online every day now, well, how the heck does that benefit you? Well,
Right.
it does if you learn how to put yourself in front of those people. Okay, they find you, but they find you because you've learned how to put yourself there to be found. And that is Google. That is search engine
And so
optimization.
it's search engine optimization,
Yes,
SEO.
that's getting ranked on Google, so that when a person goes in, let's say that you're promoting anything, can be iGalen, or it could be something maybe a person has another business. Maybe they're into arts and crafts. Maybe they're weaving baskets, or maybe they're an artist and they have paintings, or maybe they are a real estate agent or something like that. But learning how to get yourself ranked on Google for those keywords. You see, the whole blogging thing is that you learn how to optimize your blog posts so that Google indexes the posts and the websites, and you start to build your ranking up so that Google recognizes you and puts you into, so that, you know, because they're the ones that decide what people see when they type in the word emulant. Google is one that decides who gets seen, and they decide it by these factors that people are doing on the internet with their content.
Right.
Okay. And
So Brett, I mean, now we're getting you going. Now your passion's starting to really come
I
through.
love this stuff.
And so
And,
what I want to do, I mean, I'm sorry
I've
jumping in
learned,
here, but I
yeah,
do want people to get the questions they have taken the time to write.
absolutely.
So I'm just gonna, and I'm kind of gonna go a little backwards here, because I want to make this point. You did hit a hot button that John Gluckman has agreed with you, and I know that there's a few more of us who feel the same way, that the brand and marketing have to be in-house, not farmed out to third-party consultants when it comes to really getting that, with somebody really understanding how to do this with the continuity of understanding the products and who they're talking to. So there's that just got written, and it was important to just kind of, you know, we're in agreement here. And then Debbie Ward wrote that she really appreciates all that you have made available and on your site, your marketing materials. And could you please expand more on the hosting account and WordPress that might be an unknown concept to some people?
Yeah, sure. It's kind of a scary thing when it's, I mean, I can remember when I first started and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what hosting company. I didn't know any of this stuff. But now I use more of a higher end hosting account now because of the speed of the website, which is another thing that Google is looking for. But for a beginner, I started with HostGator, and I've used it for years. I still use it. and I'm very, very happy and satisfied with that company. I would recommend that anybody get for a hosting account, go to HostGator and get the middle one, which is called the baby plan, I think. And the reason that you want that one is because that allows you to use unlimited numbers of domains, because you're going to start with a domain name, but as you learn this stuff and get good at it, you might want to have more than one blog. You might want to have a blog about a health issue, and then you might want to have another blog about another health issue, because when you learn how, well, I don't know where I'm going all that, but HostGator, hosting, baby account, I think it's $8 a month or something like that. It's more, it's less if you purchase it like for a year or something like that at a time, and I suggest not doing that. I would say spend the extra $1 a month or whatever it is and buy it, pay for it monthly, because you never know if you're going to continue on with this thing, and it's easy to just get the monthly. So hope that answers your question. HostGator, and then WordPress. There's a thing, and once you get your hosting account, there's a thing called a C panel, which is a control panel, which is a back office. Okay, and back there's a button that you click. It's called Quick Install, I think it is, and that's where you install your WordPress. Point and click. It's done and like fast. Anybody, it's easy to do, and then you have your website. Okay, it doesn't look like anything yet because you have to attach a theme to it, and you have to start writing a blog post. It's going to be a blank page in the beginning, and you're still going to be looking at it, scratching your head. But then and I recommend a person just starts writing. I can remember my first blog post. I had no idea what to write about, so I wrote a blog post about not knowing what to write about.
Well, now that's
the thing is that, and then as you get going, man, it's just all this stuff. And another thing you can blog about is how you're learning how to blog.
Yeah.
Right. And people love that stuff because there's people out there that are in the same position. And now, once you start doing that, you are becoming a content marketer. You're providing value to the marketplace, and there's a lot of people out there that are going to look at that and go, "Wow, Fawn, that's great. I want to do that. I'm going to follow you. I might even want to work with you because you can show me how to do that." And that's how you attract followers, by providing good quality content, whether it's blog posts, and then you share those onto your. Another thing is that when you start sharing content in different formats, instead of just post after post after post on Facebook, which is kind of ridiculous because that's a whole other thing. But I mean, if a person is on Facebook, if you ever feel like there's only the same handful of people that are seeing your posts, it's not your imagination.
Right. It's because it's true, right?
And it's a very, very, very small percentage. And there's some secrets there to getting your reach widened or whatever. But when you start posting different types of formats like videos and blog posts and maybe podcasts and articles and things like that, different types of videos, you'll start getting the attention of people then on social media too. But you're simply sharing it from your hub, your home base, which is your blog.
Okay, so people are following you here, Brett, and Lauren has written that she'd love to hear more about the basics of SEO, how we might do that. And Debbie also is saying, what other than social media do we use to get people to our blogs?
Okay, as far as the SEO goes, when you get your hosting account and turn on your WordPress, install your WordPress, there's a company called Yoast, Yoast, Yoast. They are SEO experts. That's all that they do. And they have a free plugin. They're called plugins. It's like an app that you attach to your blog. Okay, and it shows you how to do everything as far as your SEO goes, how to optimize your page, where to put the keywords, how many times to put the keywords, because you have to, you want to insert a keyword in your title. You want to see whatever the keyword is that you're attracting, whatever market you're going after that you want, is your keyword, and it could be, and it can have something to do with Galen, or it could be inflammation, or long tail keywords are better because you're actually narrowing your niche. Because if you go after
give an example of long tailed search words, so it'd be like, how do you diminish inflammation?
Exactly,
right?
because and see, a lot of people think right off the bat, they think, well, they want to go after this huge, great, big, wide market. I'm going to use content marketing as an example. If somebody was trying to use the keyword content marketing, it's so broad. A lot of people think right out the bat that there's so many people that's how they want to do it, but that's the wrong way. Because what happens is that you're going up against the giants. You're going up against these network marketers that you will never, ever, ever in 100 million years get on the front page of Google targeting content marketing, because it's just impossible for a new person to do that. So you would want to use something like content marketing for retired dads, or content marketing for stay-at-home moms, a long tail keyword. So you're narrowing your niche. So when somebody goes into Google and types those things in, and believe me, there's enough people in the world that are doing that, then you have a much, much, much better chance of being on the front page of Google. And so when somebody goes in looking for those things, they'll see you. Otherwise, if you go out after a keyword or a category or a topic that's too broad, you're going to be on page 500 of Google. And a lot of times people don't even go past page 1.
Yeah, most of the time. I know that's true for me.
I want to get back to the Yoast plugin. Get the Yoast plugin. It's free, and because they will show you everything to do as far as getting started with your SEO optimization. You'll be well on the right track with that.
Brett, there's another question in here too from Karen Ledger, and she just asked in the chat, was there any other books or resources you'd recommend? I know you're recommending these, what you are now, but in regards to ebooks or books online that they could actually utilize?
Well, I've written a couple more. I've written one on social media marketing for beginners. It's not real elaborate. It's a start. I've written one on YouTube marketing, and those are in our group, of course, and have no problem sharing those with anybody. But there's so much training for this stuff. You just go Google it, free social media marketing training. When you start getting a little bit more involved, I'll show you who to follow. But for somebody that is absolute and complete beginner, the books that I wrote would certainly probably get you started.
So can I actually, thank you for that. Can I ask primarily Ron, Ken, Debbie, John, Fawn, are there any main questions that you guys would like to ask? No, they're all good?
No, I would like to ask more about WordPress.
Okay.
I've heard about it. It's always been sort of a nebulous thing, and I never knew what to do with it, but it sounds like you're saying get a WordPress account first, get a blog, and when you said when you go into your hosting, there's a thing to add your WordPress. Well, what if you don't even know what WordPress is? Like, can you go into WordPress a little bit more and how you?
I'll show you, but I'm glad you brought this up. I'm really glad that you brought this up, because I need to tell you about this. Otherwise, you'll be totally confused, because there's 2 different kinds of WordPress. Okay, one is WordPress.com. Okay, and that is a blog that WordPress hosts, kind of like Blogger.com, a generic blog that they host. You wouldn't need a hosting account. That's not the one that you want. because you're blogging, you're branding WordPress. You're not branding.
Yeah, don't go to WordPress.com.
You want WordPress.org. Still free.
WordPress.org.
And that's the one you attach to your hosting account, because it has to be your hosting account, because you want to brand you, not somebody else. And this is, I mean, internet marketing for MLMers is an animal in itself, but luckily for all of us, it's actually a little bit easier than internet marketing for like content marketing or affiliate marketing or something like that, because of the fact that it's a much narrower niche. Take iGalen, for example. You all have an advantage here now, because when iGalen gets more popular and people start finding out about it, they're coming online and they're looking at home-based businesses, and they start finding out about iGalen, and they go and they type in iGalen into Google search because they want to know more about it. Because we're in this thing so early, because here's the thing, Google, it takes a long time. Google, it can take up to 6 months to get yourself ranked once you optimize a website. But the thing is that those who are in early have time to get themselves solidified and set to be at the top, to be the ones to be seen when somebody goes searching for iGalen or Emulin or Climax or whatever it is. So there's a distinct advantage, and it's a lot easier because that's a very, very narrow niche. A lot of people don't even know what the heck iGalen or Emulin or Climax is yet, right? So it's a very, very narrow. So it's actually easier. The internet marketing for MLM is quite a bit easier when it comes to that side of it. There was something else I wanted to say, and I forgot what it was now. But anyway, okay, where were we? Was I answering your question?
You are answering questions, and you've got people really thinking overtime, because there's lots of people with heads down and pens are working very quickly. I can see that.
I want to ask everybody, does it make sense to brand yourself online? Can you see where that can give you an advantage? Because here's the thing. A lot of people think that because it's so competitive right now, that it's harder. Okay, because face it, we all see it. You get on Facebook, social media, and everybody's doing the exact same thing, right? Here's my link, buy my stuff. Here's my link, join my business. No. Well, why, Jackie? Why should I join your business? Because I want you to. But right. Why? Why should I join you? There's 100 other people that have asked me the same thing. Why should I join you? So the thing is that even though the audience, the field, the crowd has gotten a lot bigger, it's actually as easy, or maybe even easier, to be the one to be seen. Because when you rise above the crowd by branding yourself and start putting out good quality, which you're very good at, by the way, Jackie, you're very, very excellent at marketing on social media, then you're the ones that get seen. But the thing is, though, if you don't find a way to stand out from the crowd, you're going to get lost in the crowd, because you're going to be just like everybody else. But if you are the person who decides, I'm going to be better than everybody else, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to brand myself, and I'm going to start putting out some good quality content, become a content marketer, all of a sudden those people are going to see you instead of all those. So now all of a sudden you're posting educational stuff. You're teaching people something instead of saying, here's my link, buy my stuff. You won't even have to post your link, because people will be attracted to you for the stuff that you're posting, and they're going to say, well, what's your business? What's your company? What's your link?
So, Brett, if I may answer the question, when you said, does it make sense to brand yourself online? How I think of it is, being somebody who's always had my own business, that it's online, it's putting our shingle out. It's getting the blog in place where I'm putting my content marketing, my the value that I'm interested in offering is there, that I get transferred from my posts and social media. But if I haven't done that first, and it's like I haven't put my shingle out for the marketplace to find me. That's how
I'm
I
writing
think.
something down here because you triggered a thought in my head that I want to mention. I talked about people will sponsor shop because they're serious about their business and they want to make sure that they join somebody else who's serious about their business. So sometimes when you're talking to a prospect, they might think, well, this sounds really great and everything, and this is a nice person, but I'm pretty serious about my business and I want to make sure that I get hooked up with somebody who is also serious about their business, who's in it to win it, who's going to be there for the long term, and all these things. And they might go Google you.
Right.
Because they want to make sure that you're the right person. And so here's a little bit of homework for everyone. Go to Google and Google your name and tell me what you see. And if you don't see yourself at the top of the page, then you have some work to do, because you should. Because if somebody goes to Google you to see who you are and they don't see anything, you're a ghost to them. If they go to your Facebook page and they see a picture of a cat, and a cover image that doesn't really have anything to do with anything as far as inspiration or motivation or business. They don't see any links on it. There's absolutely no mention anywhere on your Facebook page, whether it's a personal page or a business. I don't care. Some people say you can't promote your business on your personal page. There's varying thoughts about that, but I do, and I think because if you do it correctly, and if you're not out there spamming your link on every post, but you're providing good quality content in an indirect way, promoting your business, absolutely. But if somebody
And may I just say, though, that link that you put in the post is not your iGalen website. It's your Brett Gurney.
Well, nobody should ever promote their iGalen website. Sorry to say, but I'm not saying that because it's an iGalen website. I'm saying it's because it's a replicated website. This all goes back to branding yourself. Everybody should, I mean, if that's all you have right now and that's all you have, and that's great. But if you learn how to do the blog thing and then how to build your own website, and by the way, there's tools now that there never, ever, ever used to be that makes it so drop dead simple to build a website, a good, high quality website that's yours, okay, that has your name on it, and that you can use to build a list at the same time. When people see that, they say, I'm going to join that person.
Yeah.
Because I want to know how to do that, because they got it going on. That's a leader right there, and I want to join that person. And so everybody should learn how to build their own iGalen website.
Well, I just got to say, I wish we'd had you on here a year ago already.
We're just getting started here.
Anyway, and so Brett, you need to know, people are really appreciating what you're sharing, and they do hope you come back because there's so much more. But I think you've got us all.
I can do some more training, and maybe we could even narrow it down a little bit to a specific thing that everybody wants to know more about. And I'll just be over here studying like a mad dog every day, learning more and more and more. I actually had to start over. I was getting ranked on Google with all my iGalen blogs and stuff like that, but I dismantled the whole thing because it had the name iGalen in the domain, and I took it apart. And so I had to start over because, like I said it before, it can take up to 6 months even for you to get indexed and established by Google before you start seeing yourself. But that doesn't, I mean, you're still doing all these other things. I mean, you're doing all this content marketing. Now, I want to say one more thing. Internet marketing is a skill set that I think that everybody should learn, but it is something that takes time. It's not something that a person is going to be able to know how to do and start making money and sponsoring people the next day with. It's not that kind of a thing. It's like going to college, learning how to be a doctor or something like that. You're not being a doctor, your first year in medical school, right? You got to go through it all, and then you're setting yourself up for the future. But it's a skill set that I think that everybody, I mean, the time's going to go by anyway. Start doing it, because that way, because once you learn the skills of internet marketing, you own them. They're yours. Right. No one can ever take it away from you, and you can sell anything once you learn how. And
you can live anywhere.
So in the beginning, I think that a person should do the conventional stuff, which is talking to people, the kind of marketing that the conventional networkers teach, like your uplines, Jana and Dory and Rena, and Jackie does a lot of it. And then in your spare time, when you're prospecting with people over the phone or on Facebook or however you're doing it, start learning about internet marketing, so that after a while, you've got this other thing because after a while, I don't think that anybody has ever built a big business with their friends and their family. It's something that just doesn't exist. Right. There comes a time when you have to learn how to expand your reach and go find new people.
Yep.
So anyway, I guess I got to babbling pretty bad there, didn't I?
No, not at all, Brett. Because when you do come back on for us too, one thing that we're running out of time, but I would love to hear from you, your study that you've done about Emulin, and how you've done the study between Emulin M and then shifting across to Emulin E, because I know we spoke about that too, but we haven't got time today. But
I do know we've gone over. I know, but I really think that is a very valuable. Could we maybe agree that this might be the last point that Brett would discuss tonight? Especially since then next week we're going to be going into the products and anti-aging. I mean, just because
I'm fine.
I know we are, but Brett, you've got this whole thing where you've done this unique study that I think really people would really like to hear.
Okay, I don't really know what exactly you're talking about there. Unique study, but I think.
You're throwing me under the.
Well, no, I told Jackie that I'm not taking Climax yet. And I wanted to kind of warn her of that, which might sound kind of funny to people, like I'm promoting the heck out of my business with Galen, and one of the products I'm not taking yet. But there's a reason for that. And it's because I'm doing my own study, because I want to know which product is working for me. So I don't want to take both of them at the same time yet. So I'm taking Emulin now. And I wanted to make sure that the Emulin E was working for me as well as the Emulin M. Okay, and I think I'm on my 3rd month or something like that with Emulin E, and I'm very happy with it. And so now I can move to Climax. And when I do that, I'll stop taking Emulin, because then I want to see what Climax does for me, because I know that a lot of people are taking both and they're getting great results, but I want to know which one's doing what, right? Mm-hmm. And so anyways, that's what that was all about.
You'll have to allow for that transition period, won't you, in between from stopping one product and then going into another. We may not see you for a couple of weeks after you stop taking Emulin. You'll be there with a walking stick or something.
It's possible, yeah, because I'm getting amazing results with Emulin. And in fact, I have a testimonial on my YouTube of that story, and it's been. I'm very, very happy with that product. But I'm sure that I'm looking forward to getting on Climax too and seeing how that goes, and then putting the two together for the 1-2 knockout punch. Boom.
Yeah.
Brett, I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing to come onto this call, and I'm going to mute myself and let Fawn go from there. But thank you so much, because I know so many people on here, and the people that listen to this call, it is going to ignite interest and realization of what needs to be done if they want to expand their business, because there is a whole big world out there in the internet, and it is just a matter. And when I said that you didn't need to have a degree, I wasn't taking that away from anybody's intelligence or what they've done in their life and their career. but it's
Thank
accessible
goodness,
to
or I
every.
wouldn't be here.
It was just making just congratulating you, because it is accessible to everybody. It's just a matter of wanting to find that need and then having that commitment and going out there and learning, because it's there for everybody to learn. You've just excelled at it. So thank you so much for what you've shared with us today, and thank you for agreeing to come on.
You're very welcome. I hope some of the stuff that I said made sense.
Yes, it has made a lot of sense, Brett. And I also want to thank you for agreeing to being available into the future, because I do think that there's a number of us that are ready to start really being branded online, and you've got us going with the basics here.
I'm going to tell everybody a big fat secret of mine. I'm one of the reasons why I got involved with content marketing and marketing on the internet is because I'm afraid of people. Okay. I don't do these calls because I'm scared of them. Okay. I have this social anxiety, awkwardness thing going on, and I just become petrified of the thought of speaking in front of people and stuff like that. And that's a big reason why I stay away from it. And I come up with all these excuses and stories and stuff like that. But really, that's the bottom line. I'm scared to death of. I mean, you'll never get me in front of a room. I don't think it's just terrifies me.
And yet you
for
do
those
it
of us
so
that,
well.
you know, I mean, that's the thing, Brett. I mean, you say this to us, and yet we got to be with you at convention and really got to feel just what a wonderful person you are and how easy it is to be with you. So, you know, whatever you're doing, it's working, and it's activating in all of us to let it work for us as well.
You say you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
I'm trying,
Yeah.
but most of my time, almost all my time, is because everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. So you work with your strengths while you're building up your weaknesses or whatever. You know. So anyway, yeah. Well, I got warmed up, and so I'm.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful way to say it, and it actually is the key to anti-aging, isn't it?
If I might make a comment, Brett, nice to hear you. I haven't spoken with you before, but wait till you get on Climax. The social shyness is going to go away.
Really?
You're going to be chilled out.
Maybe I should start taking 5 ambulance a day instead of 3, so I can get rid of my bottle sooner, so I can get up.
Well, you know, you don't have to finish the bottle before you start.
I find this setting, this is okay, and I like teaching people, or if I can, you know, I'll try. So if you want to do this again with a more specific topic or whatever, but just to summarize super quick, if you want to, I think everybody should start branding themselves online, because you'll rise above the crowd and people will see you. You provide them, you know, quality content, value. They'll want to follow you. They'll want to work with you. Start with a domain name. Can be anything. You know, don't put too much thought into it, because you can buy as many as you want, and then get yourself a hosting account at HostGator. If you need more information on that, just let me know. I'm happy to help you, show you, whatever. And then let's get your blog set up and start blogging, and just boom, do it.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And
okay.
Lauren, you came off mute. Did you want to say something to Brett directly?
Well, I was just going to note how a shy person can become diamond. So that's quite a testimony in itself. So thank you for demonstrating that for us.
This is kind of a funny thing that I mention sometimes about, you know, when I'm talking to somebody and they ask me what I do for a living, after I've told them that, well, that I'm scared to death of people or whatever, and they ask me what I do for a living, I'm a marketer, right? And they're like, well, wait a second, something's not fitting here. you're a network marketer that's afraid of people.
Mhm.
Go figure.
Right.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this. Doesn't matter. Okay, I could sit in my room and lock myself in this room and build an empire.
That is the beauty of it.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm building my empire from my bedroom. You can see I'm in my bedroom, right? Closet behind me. This is where I work. It's my office.
But Brett, do us a favor.
I'm building my empire sitting at home because of the internet. Boom.
Brett, just because you mentioned that about here's your empire, do you mind just turning the camera a little to your left so that we can see your workspace, right? Because
I know.
we didn't want you to be sideways, right? But this is just really for people to see that you are completely set up here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I've got a new computer coming. I have a 27-inch screen. It's too small for me. I want a big one.
27 inches too small?
Because when you're building websites, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah, go a little more towards, there we go, yeah.
So,
Yes.
so I'm in my bedroom.
Stop.
Well, the camera's.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm in my bedroom building my little empire, just doing my little thing, typing like a madman on the internet, and figuring out how to create videos, how to build websites. I've got this tool now that anybody, I don't care who it is, anybody can build a website with this tool. It's the most amazing thing. And I've used a lot of page builders, a lot of them. But after using Thrive Themes,
Yep.
It's called Architect, their plugin, their website builder, and I use it for all my blog posts, for everything. You can build a website, man, and anybody can. And their training it costs $49 for this tool a year, I think, and it's the most amazing thing that you'll ever find if you want to learn how to build a website.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it, and it makes everything look so professional.
What is it again?
It's called Thrive Themes. THRIVE, Thrive Themes. These are some really, really smart people.
They're really smart.
Yeah, they're really
and it's
smart.
fun. I mean, they make it fun. Debbie,
they also have what they
you
call
will love
Thrive
Thrive Themes,
which is free. Thrive University, which anybody can enroll in. I think it's free for training, learning how to do everything that I just talked about, only from the experts, the pros. These guys, they're amazing, and they have blog posts and videos and tutorials and webinars about anything that you can imagine about anything. And they're good people. They know their stuff. They're the best that I've found.
Yeah.
Thrive Themes.
Thank you. And we see there in the back who inspires you.
What?
Who's the person the photo, right? All the way to your photo.
That's a book that my daughter gave to me that I haven't even read yet, to be honest with you.
Oh, how funny. Okay.
That's Steve Jobs, if you can't tell.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Have you read that book?
I have.
Oh, have you? Is it good?
Well, I enjoyed it, but you have to understand, I grew up with Steve Jobs in the same Silicon Valley, so there's a lot of...
Yeah, me and him, man, we were best friends back in the
day. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, thank you. And there is so much more, but we're gonna let everybody go. Wind up here. So again, thank you, Brett.
You're
Next
welcome.
week we're gonna get Ron and Ken with all of their passion back here on the focus of anti-aging with the use of the products. And so everybody be sure to join us again next week. Bring your team members. As you know, the dynamics between Ron and Ken always let us keep learning more with being highly entertained, I have to say, at the same time. With they got the visuals with the matched passion. So please join us next week. And just as a reminder that we do have our Emulin E special continuing through the month of May that you really want to take advantage of, because I mean, it's incredible for gold people to get 2 extra bottles. That just drops the price down to, as Debbie says, $46 a bottle. Unheard of, right? And then the platinum, the same way, you get 5 extra bottles, and then you as the enroller get half as much extra BV. So I mean, the company is really going out of their way, I think, to let this be a win-win-win all the way around. So again, anything else from the Fab Five? Any of you that I'm forgetting to add as we bid our farewell?
Just thank you again, Brett. Thank you so much, Fawn, for your input as well, Debbie, and thank you to Ron and Ken for always coming on board and supporting this, because they're big shoes that John Gluckman had to fill, and it was great to have him on board today too. But primarily, thank you so much, Brett, for agreeing to do this, and we look forward to twisting your other arm to bring you on board again.
Thank you, Jackie, for dragging me out of my shell.
Yay, Jackie! Yay! All right. Okay.
So I'd like to just add something. This shows teamwork in such a unique way, because I'm not in Brett's team, and Brett has been so generous with just helping me things that I ask about or things that he volunteers from his knowledge about sharing things, and maybe you'd like to try this, and because I have a YouTube channel, and I learned it by just trial and error, and Brett has so much more knowledge, but he's so willing to share that with everybody. You don't have to be a team member, his team member. It's just one big family team, and your humility shows through, Brett, with when you do your videos. You're not hypey, and I think people really, really appreciate that, because you're not just rah do this, and it's so real. It really comes from your heart, and we feel that. So I really appreciate everything that you contribute to the whole company. And thank you again so much for sharing. And we will want to pick your brain big time, because there's lots of little details my brain is going, so which one do I do first? We
could talk about this for a year and there's still
I know. All right. Thank you a million.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yay. Yay. Yes. Thank you. And I just want to add here that Nancy Kelly did write from Debbie what you just said, that team players are a gift. So, all right, everyone, much love. Embrace our whole Galen family across the planet. Have a wonderful rest of your night, day, evening, morning. Bye for now.